Today is April 16th, 2020, and we've got Jamie Lane of CBRE, and Bianca Portabarga, formerly VP Membership Performance and Distribution with Lux Hotels, coming up. And of course, the one and only fabulous Chris Green is on today. But the biggest thing, the biggest news of the day is I've got new glasses, and we're going to try them on just for you, so stay tuned. All right, Anthony, I was too cheap to get my own glasses, so I reached into the collection of Red Roof glasses that I had and pulled out one of these. How do you think these are going to look for me? Should I just keep these?
Glenn, how are you? How are you today? What are we talking about?
I'm doing all right. We're talking about my glasses, Anthony.
See, I didn't play
the
into
hotel industry. I want to just say.
See, I'm not. I was trying to take your energy out. I was trying to take
Apparently, you're not going to take my energy down. Anyway, I'm trying to make a joke about my Red Roof glasses here. Love the folks over at Red Roof. I got these last year at the AHOA conference. That event was supposed to be going on right now, but it's going to be taking place in August instead. But let's get serious for a second. I finally got rid of my seemingly trademark broken glasses, and Warby Parker turned around these things really, really incredibly fast. So I got this pair over here. What do you think about that? And then I got this pair over here. So everybody out there,
let me see the first one.
Let's do this proper way. I want everybody out there to vote which pair of glasses should I wear regularly on the show here. All right. So again, covering the important news of the day, we got pair number one. All right. And then pair number two, more of the tortoiseshell kind of look over there. All right. So log your votes. Let us know what you want, we think you should wear, and all that kind of good stuff. Now, before we bring in our guests today to start off the show, Jamie Lane and Chris Green, and then we'll have Bianca on in a little while from now to talk about what's going on with distribution and stuff like that. Anthony, anything that you want to get out there before we get started with the official show today?
I thought you would never ask. I'm here too today, Glenn.
Would you like me just to talk for the next 20 minutes about my new glasses? I'm very excited about this, Anthony.
Yes, Glenn. It's interesting. Before we bring in our guest, I think you and I should check our mindsets. We're in our fourth week now. Is it the fourth week?
Yeah, there's a reason why I'm going crazy around here. I'm going stir crazy. I care about glasses fashion shows, not what else is going on.
So compare your mental state today than it was even a week ago. Where are you?
Where am I? I got to say that I think I'm okay emotionally. I think I've personally been through the roughest part for me as an individual. I'm starting to feel like there is a path forward. I don't quite know what that's going to be, but I know there's going to be a path forward. And part of the reason is because we've already got great people such as Bartech sponsoring us this past week. So I got to thank the good folks at Bartech. Thank you to them, because when you have great support from companies like these, Anthony, it really gives me the confidence to know that there's a future, and people have been reaching out to us about sponsorships and stuff. And I know it seems kind of weird to match the sponsorship thing with my emotional mood, but it really is important, because that's kind of like how we're going to survive here. That's how we're going to kind of get through that. Plus all the love that we've been getting for all of you folks out there.
That's how you buy new glasses.
That's exactly right. With every pair bought at Warby Parker, they give one away for free. So I got two pairs. They gave away two for free, and I could feel pretty good about myself. And be sure, guys, go reach out and check out bartech.com, info@bartech.com to find out more, because they are going to help you make more money in your guest rooms when people start traveling again. Okay, Anthony, sorry. Over to you, sir. I'm crazy today. What's going on?
On behalf of everyone listening, I apologize for a really bad start to our show. If he mentions his glasses,
I got to tell you, I think this is a great part of the show, because I've been doing 95% of all the talking.
Dude, you've interrupted me 4 times, and if you talk about your glasses one more time. So, my mindset is one of I think we're all going to have to reset at some point, and I actually had to do a reset this morning. Everyone's me, a real strong person, and I am a strong person. But I needed to kind of do inventory of what's going on, everything from business to personal to family, everything. And and I checked in with myself. I don't really check in with other people. I checked in with
Right.
myself,
Mhm.
and myself said, okay, boss, you need a reset. And I went through a process that I go through, and I reset myself.
Mhm.
So I think it's
Right.
really, really important that every single person that is, whether listening to this or somebody, this isn't about forecasting, and this isn't about when we get back. This is about checking in with your neighbor and checking in with yourself. And so this morning I had that, and I thought that maybe would be helpful to other people that maybe are in this fourth week and a little
Mhm.
kind of like, okay, it's 4 weeks already. It's
Right.
like the stamina is there, but it's like it's 4 weeks, like,
Yeah, man.
and we don't have an end date. So it's important. It's important sometimes to do a reset and to really take inventory of what's going on. And with me, I kind of reset myself, and reach out to a couple of friends, but basically reset myself. And some other people need, whether it be a priest or whether they need a friend or so. Check in with yourself. Make sure that in this fourth week you're getting stronger, and because now you're going to need it more than ever. And I just want to say, Glenn, that I don't like either one of your glasses.
Mhm.
So let's start the show.
All right. Well, that
I'm
hurts.
kidding. I love your glasses.
Deeply emotional wound that I'm
I love.
suffering. And I also want to know that it looks like people like these more, so I put these on for the remainder of the show. Let's welcome Mr. Jamie Lane of
I like it.
CBRE Hotels and our good friend Chris Green of Chesapeake Hospitality. Gentlemen, welcome. How are you today?
Good afternoon.
Jamie?
Hi, Ben. Thanks for having me.
All right. So,
Hey, Jamie. Hey, Chris. I never thought I'd say this, but it was great to see you. I'm going to probably just talk to you today because there's something wrong with him. And I like your lighting today. Your lighting's better. I like your backdrop. He's kicking up his game. Mine is darker and worse, but yours is better. I like that.
Well, I do have a question though. Do you like these or these? I don't.
Oh my God.
It's good to see.
I
Hey,
almost
Anthony. Anthony, it's good to see you back. We missed you Tuesday, buddy. I know you had something to deal with, but we missed you a bunch.
Yeah, it's been when it hits close to home, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie, it's been really, really rough for my family and for me. It kicked us really, really hard, and you've got to take care of yourself, and we got to understand this is going to come to an end at some point. But there's a lot of people suffering, and unfortunately, we got hit, and it's unfortunate, but. It's part and parcel, right? Like one of the things everybody knows, I don't talk about my personal life. You can find almost nothing about my personal life on the internet. I'm a very private person, but I think it's really, really important to every day kind of check in and say, hey, this has been rough. We did get hit, and with somebody really close to me, as close as possible, and a very close family friend. And not to start the show on a negative note, but there's people listening to this that are going through the same thing. And I think to go directly into just talking about forecasting and hotel business wouldn't be sincere. And everybody knows I'm a pretty sincere person, authentic person. And this morning it wasn't great. It's tough, and it's getting a little bit tougher. Actually, not easier.
Of course.
So, but with that said. I'm only sharing because I'm not a sharer like that, but I'm only sharing because there are people listening to my voice that are going through the same thing. And, my prayers and my heart goes out to you. And also I want to say that, Glenn.
Yes, sir.
It is impossible. It's an impossible thing for you to look any better than you do with glasses, because without glasses, you are one of the handsomest men I've ever met.
How's that? Sorry, I got to.
All right, I
got to practice for my future career as an Instagram influencer. So I got to get that duck face going.
Yeah, good luck with that, Jamie. So Jamie, tell everybody who you are, and let's get into it.
But first of all, Jamie, there are a lot of people that are listening don't necessarily know what CBRE is all about. Could you just give us a quick 20 seconds on what you're all about to create some context? And sorry, Anthony, I am just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Well, when I said to Jamie, hey, Jamie, why don't you start by telling everybody who you are and what you do?
I totally didn't get that. Oh my God, somebody help me.
What? How about I go ahead and tell everyone who I am and who I work for?
To think this is not Feel Good Friday, and we're having a lot of laughs over here. All right, this is turning into Terrible Thursday.
So
I wish I could take you out of the show right now. So Jamie, go ahead.
So I work for CBRE and specifically the CBRE Hotels Group. CBRE is the world's largest real estate company, over 100,000 employees worldwide. CBRE Hotels were 300 something people that's focused specifically on hotels. I head our research group based in Atlanta, where we've been forecasting the U.S. hotel industry starting in 2001. Been doing it since, and we forecast the U.S. as a whole, as well as the top 60 markets, and take a deep look at profits on an annual basis.
So what's the deal now?
Right now, I know before we got on,
like
you were
to
saying
mention
something
too,
about.
I had never seen your show before this week, and in preparation of coming on the show with you and Glenn, I did a whole Hotel Impossible marathon over the past week, which I very much enjoy it, being part of the hotel industry.
Was it any good? I haven't seen the show yet myself.
Well, I will tell you that a professor at a very, very, very prestigious hospitality school said, we're going to teach, because everybody's home, we're going to do some fun stuff. We're going to teach 4 of your episodes to our hospitality program, which is the best in the country. And so that tells you the state of what's happening in our colleges, that it's so bad, this pandemic's so bad, that they're teaching my class in an Ivy League school. So there you go.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here voting on Glenn's glasses. What happened to my life? So
I know.
Talking about
who thought you would be so lucky to be able to do that today?
We were talking about forecasting. And Glenn, do me a favor. I'm usually the one interrupting. Let's keep it that way. So you're the interrupter today. I'm not used to it. So you were talking about forecasting, and I said the only way you can forecast today is if you have the date of when we're getting the vaccine. And I really believe the more I'm hearing, the more I'm thinking it's the fits and starts that everybody's so concerned about. It's like, well, we'll open this and then we'll open that. It's like at the end of the day, man, people are scared and people don't want to get on airplanes unless we know we're safe. And so how the hell in this environment can you be responsible for forecasting?
Yeah, and I get that question a lot.
Am I frozen?
All we can do is come up with a base of assumptions. So when do we think we're going to hit the peak number of cases? How long after that do we expect the economy to start opening up? And just a assumption overall that we'll eventually get a vaccine and that it'll be in place sometime end of 2020 into 2021. And those are the assumptions we're basing off of. We're putting in a wide variety of scenarios in that of, are we going to be locked down for the next month, 2 months, 5 months, and feed those assumptions through our different hospitality forecasting models that can give hotel owners, operators, something to plan off of for the months and years ahead.
Yeah. So before we go on, Greg Miller of PM Hospitality Strategy says Virginia is going to be on lockdown until June 10th at this point. And he also says New York City and Maine at least until May 15th. Oy, 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 oy. So, Jamie, let's hear some of your numbers.
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. We got extended to May 15th.
That's what Greg is saying. I've known Greg for a long time, so I'm sure he's got accurate information.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And under our current baseline scenario, our assumption is that number of cases are peaking in end of April, which it does appear like in terms of the number of daily new cases and deaths, we seem to be approaching the peak, if not already there. And then based on what we're seeing in other countries, whether it's China, Italy, it's going to be another 8 to 12 weeks of some version of lockdown / slowly opening up the economy. And then we'll start to grow hotel occupancies again. And that's what we're seeing in China today. We're now above 30% occupancy, where their lows were below 10% back in early February when their case numbers peaked. And if we follow that same trajectory a bit, we expect it a little bit slower, and given the widespread outbreak in the US, and we could get and we'll be at occupancy levels at or below the point levels now for the next 2.5 months, and then slowly start grow out of that in midsummer.
So things have changed a lot in the last 7 days, because like we were not talking about it this long. I mean, it is really changed. Chris, what's your mindset like, and what are you forecasting, and what's changed in 7 days for you?
Yeah, I think the length of what we're looking at is what's changed really, and it continues to push further out. I mean, Jamie's right on. We've repurposed our revenue management team into an analyst division, looking at any possible, upticks in business anywhere around the country. And I mean, I just don't know. We've taken CBRE, HVS, STR, other people's forecasts and try to synthesize them. And still, it's like Jamie said, it's just your best guess with the data you have right now. I think what Jamie's saying is intelligent. And I think that, a star was at 50. I don't know what you guys forecasted, Jamie, for the year, like right now, but star was at 50.6 down. And to me, that's aggressive as far as that. I would be happy if we ended at 50.6 down right now. So.
Wow. Jamie?
And when are they forecasting that for? What day are they forecasting that for?
No, they're forecasting for the year to end 50.6 down, which would really, basically for my company, it looks like down 90% this month, down 90 next month, down like 85 in June, 80 in July. I mean, very, very, very slow, and getting only to about 30% occupancy in December to get to 50 down for the year, because January and February were great.
Right.
That's the craziest thing.
Yeah, and for the U.S. as a whole, we're down 46%. But if you look at the top 60 markets, the top 25 markets, it's well above that 55, 60%. So, and we are seeing significant more demand outside of the major cities and in the lower chain scales. So I think, and Chris, what we're seeing matches up very closely with what you're seeing in your properties.
I was looking yesterday, Glenn. The interesting thing was economy. I think economy is running like 36% occupancy right now, which is, I mean, I would kill for 36% occupancy. So.
Right. Yeah. And you're not the only one that would do that. But yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of economy hotels saying occupancy such as that. Also, hotels in secondary and tertiary markets, the ones that don't seem to be in the middle of the big cities, seem to be having the most luck at this particular moment. Jamie, does that sound like it's more than anecdotal and based in actual statistics and numbers that you're seeing?
Yeah, and based on STR's weekly numbers, small town, interstate location type properties are running roughly 25% occupancy. And it's been really stable over the past 3 weeks. So we seem to have hit the bottom, where nationally we've been at anywhere from 22 to 20% occupancy for 3 weeks in a row.
Imagine being a hotel owner and walking into a hotel, and pumping your fist going, yes, we're 30% occupancy.
Right. And 30% is the good tiers. And at urban in our major cities, higher end properties, we're at or below 10%. And that's national average. So, and many properties are operating much lower than that.
Do you think, do you think based on now that it's really extending out and it's getting to the end of the year and things are getting a little bit more serious than people thought maybe 2-3 weeks ago is how long this is going to be. Do you think there's a potential of some major 5-star hotels not being able to sustain themselves? I'm concerned about some major 5-star hotels that will not be around maybe after this comes out. And I don't mean an individual hotel. I'm talking about a brand. What do you think?
And I can't comment on individual brands or properties. They're all our friends and clients. And I do see, and probably a lot of really good decisions made out there to close properties, reduce expenses as much as possible for the long haul of seeing really low occupancy levels into the summer. So reduce expenses, get extensions on debt payments, on other expenses, and set yourself up to be able to reopen once demand starts to come back.
Right.
So you're pretty confident that everybody's going to survive?
I'm hoping so.
Right. Chris, you got a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Jamie, when you're doing your forecasts, what closure factors are you using as far as percent closed? And then
Yep.
how are you, and you don't have to give me your secret sauce, but I'm just interested, how are you kind of factoring in reopenings, like at a paced reopening, or how are you guys doing that or thinking about that?
Yeah, so it's still an open question. How we've been factoring it in so far is that all the closures that are happening today are temporary in nature and aren't a actual removal of supply, but that once demand gets back to a high enough level that they're going to come back in. So that's the guidance we've seen from the different agencies, sort of telling us on how they'd like accounting measures to be done. I'm not sure if that's what we'll see or not from STR or Calibri, but and that's what we're thinking about today. Is if the demand's there, hotels are going to come back. So these closures are temporary in nature, and we need to be focused on what is the overall level of accommodated demand out there today, and when will that start to come back?
One of the things I'm finding by talking to a lot of people is, and this is for Chris or Jamie, that people are frustrated, especially entrepreneurs, because it's really difficult to be creative when there's really nothing to be creative about because we don't know what's going on. Is there anything that you've seen or heard of that is creative, whether it be in accounting, finance, development, whatever, anything that's like, hey, that was a smart thing to do. That was a really wise choice. Anything that stands out to either one of you gentlemen?
As it relates to the current scenario, Anthony?
Yes. Is there anything that pops out that's like, oh, you know what, that makes sense, and I'm going to use that in my company? Anything that, no? If the answer is no, the answer is no.
No,
but
my thing. Our thing is we're taking the tack that we're hanging on to 100% of our corporate staff. But and I'm sure they're listening, so I want to make sure I send the right message. But that decision gets tougher and tougher as the pandemic extends. Right? We're a management company paid solely by fees from our managed estate. So that the longer that goes, the more we're just draining cash reserves. So I think that hanging on to your people is going to be critical because you're gonna want to come back out strong. But the question is how long can you? And then of course, I don't know if you guys saw the news now is PPP funds are expired.
Yeah, I
They're
saw
gone.
that this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that 300 and something billion?
350 billion. Quick.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that they'll have to come back to DC should they want to grace us with their presence to get something done actually and fix that problem because they really don't have a choice, right? I mean, otherwise we're all screwed.
I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating, Anthony. Oh, sorry. I'm just wanted to ask Jamie. It's fascinating to me. Like those guys are trying to forecast because we look to them. We look to CBRE and everybody for. I mean, this is what's killing me. Is like you said, you had to have a reset. I got up today and I thought, oh my gosh, I could have 45 more days in my home office with no idea what to forecast. And so we're looking to all these guys, and that's a lot of pressure for them to try and, get data out that makes sense that we can use. Because hoteliers, we live for data. And there's just how good is the data right now? We don't know. As good as they are, we don't know how good the data is.
Yeah, and something in the 20 years we've been forecasting, and we'd have a cadence of updating the numbers every quarter. 90 days, we get a new update. In those 20 years, there's only 3 times when we've updated sort of an interim update. One was after 9/11, one after Lehman fell, and then we've already done it twice since the COVID-19 situation. So
Wow.
And we've been hearing from our clients that we want updated forecasts. We need new numbers to plan off of, and we're committed to continually updating as the assumptions that we've made need to change. That we're going to keep updating our forecasts, applying new assumptions, and getting them out to people. I would like to know too, and Chris, the decisions that and you guys are having at the corporate level, and we're seeing throughout, and and the economy and the initial downturn was really sector specific. And it was accommodation and food service, retail trade. That was the primary industries that were having to do job cuts. Now that's permeating into a lot of other sectors of the economy, whether it's construction, manufacturing, professional business services, finance and insurances, management companies. And that's going to have much more long-term implications for the lodging industry. Of when the restrictions are eased, people can get back to travel. The sort of base of underlying employment won't be there to support the levels of travel we need to bring occupancies back up to the level we need them to. So it is going to push out the time of recovery of just what money and employees people are going to have to travel.
Yeah. It's hitting. I mean, it's hitting somebody on our team. Their husband's in construction, and they just had furloughs at their company because people are now. I think it's hitting their wallets, and they're saying, "Oh gosh, this is longer than I thought." So we thought it was going to be 45 days. Well, it's not. So I'm not going to do a new roof now. I was going to do this while I had time, but it's just not happening. So.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening around here at the Houseman Pool Club and Smokehouse. We put a stop on everything.
Whether it be China or another country.
Wait, say that again, Anthony. We didn't hear you. Could you say that one more time?
Is there anything that you learned, Jamie, from other countries that is interesting or that you're going to apply to forecasting here in the States? Like, what have you learned from China in looking at them and how they're opened?
Yeah, and in both China and Italy, we've seen complete lockdowns. And what that means is what we see that it meaning is they're able to stop the rate of infections and very quickly and bend the curve down very efficiently. That's not necessarily what we've seen so far in the U.S. And what that means is we're not going to see the V-shaped recovery that we're seeing in China and expect to see in Italy very, very soon. Is that it's going to be a more U-shaped recovery, a more prolonged reduction in travel in the U.S. and it does push out some time until we'll start to recover occupancy.
Yeah, let me give a rant here for a second. A U for unemployed, because there's a lot of
I have so many follow-up questions to that, but I don't want to get political. So
I'm just saying there are a lot of people out there that are being so stupid, that are so being selfish right now and not staying inside. They're going out and they're pretending like nothing is happening. They're getting misinformation and thinking this is all fake news. And there are people out there dying, and this is something that we have to do. It's touching most of our lives, and those people that it's not touching, they need to shut up already and be good citizens and look out for the rest of us. Our entire economy could go into a shambles because of a few selfish people that just won't do what's right for the rest of us. And I encourage anyone out there who sees those types of people, tell them exactly what you think about this, because their actions are hurting every single one of us. And I'm getting really angry about it anymore. No more fun glasses talk right now. We're getting real about what's going on out here. And I see people like Chris's business. He's had to lay off all of these people, and all of these selfish people out there are not truly understanding what they have to do to get our country back on track. They are too dang busy pretending nothing is happening. Sorry, I'm just so freaking frustrated. I went out yesterday to the supermarket, and there are people like reaching over me pretending this is like 2 months ago, and having no idea of what we're really going through and how many people are suffering out here. And I just can't take it. And thanks for saying I'm right, people there in the chat room. Sorry, I will let you take over, Anthony. Maybe I just need to put a muzzle on today.
I talked to a friend of mine who's in law enforcement, and he said, "What do you think should happen if you see people without gloves and masks on and not social distancing? Do you think they should be ticketed?" And I said, "No, you should shoot them," because think about a 15-year-old drunk kid with an M16. When you have a finger that may be infected, you can literally kill somebody. Mm-hmm. So that's dramatic what I said, but it's true. There's no more. It's no more dangerous than a drunk 15-year-old with an M16. You're walking around with poison potentially, and you're unknowingly infect someone. I unfortunately had to go to the grocery store this morning, and I usually go very, very early. I'm the first one there. And I went out there a little bit later, and there was a person with no gloves, no mask, no nothing, and did the same thing. Walked right in front of me. And thank God that I'm a lot older now and a lot smarter now. But I wanted to hit him. I mean, it was so, and not for me. But there's people in that owners in that grocery store that have been there since day one, and these people are there 12 hours a day in people's faces, and they are working like animals. They're my heroes. I mean, they're there every day. Everything's stocked, and they're working and I cry for them. I internally cry for them. And they can't go home. They can't stay with their family. And that one of them is sick, and he was sick way before this virus, and he can't come in and help his family. And for you to go into their store and disrespect them that way, it was extraordinarily infuriating. And the reason I'm calm, and the reason I've been calm throughout this whole thing, is because there's enough out there, and you see enough stuff that if you don't allow yourself to be calm, you don't allow yourself to be in control, you can get yourself in trouble a big way, because this is serious, And I know, Chris, when I said that about shoot them, you reacted to that, but as extreme as that sounded, it's like, well, they're shooting other people by being infected and walking around potentially. Because I could see if you can say 100% you're not infected and 100% you won't be infected, that's okay. Then you walk around. But nobody knows, Chris. Nobody on this panel knows if we have it. We don't know. And how in God's name do you walk into a family business? And this community needs this family business, and they need this family business. And how dare you, when it has a big sign, please do not walk in the store without a mask and gloves on. Okay? How dare you?
Anthony, I wasn't really, honestly, I wasn't reacting. I wasn't reacting to what you said. I was reacting to the fact that Jamie is a hotel, he does hotel analysis and forecasting, and I run a hotel business, and you have a hotel consulting, and Glenn talks about hotels, and this is what we're talking. I've had a hard day today. I've kind of been sad for what we're seeing, like that we're talking about how many deaths there are and how many cases there are. It's just not what we do. Our business is so vibrant and fun, and that we're all having to be, and I think it's valuable what we're doing. I really do, what you guys are doing every day. But man, it's hard that this is our subject. It's just so heartbreaking, quite frankly. So. And
that's one of the reasons I talked about my reset this morning, because now because we're feeling a little weaker. Maybe this morning you said you were sad, and maybe Glenn last week was a little sad, and maybe this morning I had my moment, and maybe Jamie's going to have his moment, or had it.
Right.
But it demands, this situation demands us. This is not the time to slow down. This is not the time to get weak. This is not the time to lick our wounds. This is not the time to feel sorry for ourselves. How dare us, with other people who are weaker, other people that don't have the resources we have, how dare us to sit and stew in our own juices, in our own sorrow and our own pity, and that's what I said to myself. How dare me? How dare me? My family, my friends, the show, everybody needs me. I will be okay. How dare I? And so when I see people that are taking my good faith and taking everybody else's good faith and going into a store without a mask and gloves on, after this is all over, I may look for that person, because that I almost dropped the F-bomb. That is just infuriating.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Before we move on to our next segment and to be a little bit more positive over here, Chris, have you thought about the psychological component for any of your hotel workers that are still on site at property, and what you might be able to do to assist them?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's actually a great question. And it's something, we have an amazing HR team, and led by Brenda McGregor, and they do an amazing job, and they've been caring for our associates from the beginning. We launched an employee care section on our website called Chesapeake Strong, and it's got access to all of those mental health potential issues that can be going on, the stress, the concern, the financial issues. So I'm really proud of how we've tried to care for them. But that's one, I can even think about it, because, and I imagine it's kind of when I asked Jamie too, my world is numbers based, and how much is this, and what's the forecast? And his is completely numbers based, right? So for us, the stress of not knowing is probably my biggest stressor. Jamie, is that how you feel? Is just not having an answer? Is that hard for you?
Oh, it's definitely hard, and why we've and developed this set of assumptions that we just continually update and to try to provide updated numbers. We're getting weekly data from STR, from Calibri, and find out what's happening in real time and disseminate that information as quickly and accurately as possible. And we see from you guys at Chesapeake and from all of our other clients and show me what the numbers are, show me where you think they're going, and through the numbers we can at least have some solace or direction, or it's almost comforting in the numbers.
Yeah, I have one more thing real quick, guys. I wanted to share, Anthony, since we're talking about the mental health. I mean, I have an 8-year-old. So my wife and I have 3 kids, 21, 18, and then 8. Surprise. Same wife. But my 8-year-old is struggling with understanding what's going on. Everybody is struggling. And if I'm grown, if I'm 50 and I'm struggling, imagine the kids. They're like, why do I have to stay home all the time? I don't understand. I can't see my friends. There's going to be a lot of impact on the mental side from this. There went your cat, Glenn.
Yeah,
Hello.
I know. She's not supposed to be on the show till tomorrow.
Chris, that's interesting, because I think that's what the reset was for me this morning. It's 4 weeks in, and I think now is we're getting into some serious issues. And like, I have 3 college kids home, okay, and the longer this goes, and the worse it's going to get. And they just had basically a family member pass away of this virus, who's a friend and a surrogate grandfather and father to them. And then everything is just going on, and more it's getting to zero. Is like, what else? What do I have to look forward to? One of the things that I kind of was thinking about this morning, as human beings, we have to look forward to stuff. And I always in my life, no matter what I'm working on, I've always had something to look forward to. And we laugh about like my poker game, because I like playing like small poker, like $200 buy-ins. But I always put a couple of those tournaments in my schedule over the year, because those are my moments to look forward to. I really look forward to those things that I can just kind of have my own moment, or a golf trip with my friends. Right now, that's what's scaring me, is there's not a lot to look forward to. And really what we're doing is we're resetting to get back to where we were. And that's going to be a long haul. So I'm really concerned about that, whether it be for my family, my friends, or anyone. And that's scary. And, one of the things I want to get to real quick is somebody said that they're running a hotel, and I just read it on my Facebook. They're running a hotel, and there's a bunch of college kids that are staying in the hotel. They use their stimulus check to get drunk and throw up on their carpet. And I would escort those people out of the building so fast their head would spin. Okay, they'd be on the street so quickly their head would spin. And then someone else writes, I think we should all be just given masks and we should open up the economy. Well, you can't open up the economy when you have stupidity and people that are reaching over Glenn and people that aren't wearing masks and gloves. You can't say, okay, here's your gloves, here's your mask, everybody go. Because some people will be diligent, some people won't. And you're going to start seeing fights and anger and all kinds of stuff and more uncertainty than you've ever seen in your life if you allow that to happen right now. I don't think now is the time to say, okay, open up the economy, everybody go to restaurants, everybody go to bars, because you will see more people infuriated, and you'll see more road rage than you'll ever seen before in your life. Now is not the time. The one thing out of this is I don't have to argue with my kids about, they can see their friends, they can go here, they can go there. I don't have to argue with them. If all of a sudden we open up and say we can go to restaurants and bars and we don't have an understanding of what's going on yet, I'm going to have just mayhem in my house. And the reason, to your point, Jamie, is other countries were able to shut it down and then open it up. We're not doing that. And, somebody once said to me, sometimes America, and again, I was in the military and I die for this country tomorrow. Sometimes you have too much freedom. And I never understood that. And I don't believe in that at all. I still don't believe in that. But there are some idiots out there that screw it up for everybody. And unfortunately, it's not 2%. We don't have 2% of idiots in this country. We have a much higher percentage of idiots in this country. And if you open it up, right now, I think that we're going to be struggling with this for years and years and years.
Right.
So
Anthony,
let's go. But more,
yeah,
we got back to your glasses.
Yeah, let's talk about my glasses a little bit more. But seriously, we got a question coming on Facebook. Is using China occupancy numbers really a good gauge here? And then I know Chris has got a question for you. And then we got to bring on Bianca about distribution and rate setting and all that soon enough. So Jamie?
Yeah, and I think it goes back to Chris's question from the beginning of and well, what do we have to look forward to, or what is there out there to look to give us any direction of what's coming? And at the beginning, the only data point was China. Now we've obviously deviated from what's happening in China, but it still gives us a gauge of, once things start opening up, how many people are able to start traveling. And an excellent data point a few weeks ago was from STR, was the highest occupancy in the world was coming out of Wuhan, China. And it was quarantine patients, it was medical workers. And today we're seeing actually occupancies go up in some urban areas as more and more either quarantine patients or medical workers are using hotels to stay or for lodging. And that's leading to more and more occupied demand in some of those markets as it is a new source of demand.
Excellent. Chris, what was your question?
So my question is when we think about hotel profitability, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going to be the question, if you run scenarios at 50.6 down or 60% down, you really can't make the numbers work if you have any kind of debt service on a hotel. So even the measures that are being taken by the government right now to try and stave off some of the problems, which they still haven't figured out the CMBS issue yet, it's not going to help. We're going to be in a period of negative. I mean, is that what you're going to imagine? A negative operating profit or almost zero for a period of time?
Yep. And in the upper scales, it is 0 to negative. And I think that supports the closures that we're seeing in that sector, where, and you look at the numbers, it's over 50% of luxury hotels are closed now, and getting close to 50% in upper upscale of the operating metrics just don't work to stay open.
Yeah. Well, I want to say that Brandy Patterson says, with freedom comes responsibility. And I think that really says it all. And that's kind of the theme in this. And we've been talking a lot about we're all in this together, Anthony, but we all need to be in this together. Because if we start to get back to things a little too soon, I'm really afraid things are going to spike up again and get worse. And we're just going to be right where we started, you know? All right. Now
the Army had, I was in the Air Force, but the Army had a great saying. It said, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, I was in the Air Force, but the Army had a great saying, and it said, I'm an army of one. And I love her saying that with freedom comes responsibility. And being an army of one, if we all think of that way, that's what we are. We're an army of one, because one person can save another person's life. But when we think of saving people's lives, and Jamie, I'm really sorry, because when we do shows like this, we normally don't go this deep, but I think we're really at a reset point for all of us. And I think when you think of first responders and police officers and doctors, those are the people that protect us. And then we go about in our little playgrounds and go worry about the ridiculous things that we worried about, and they just protect us. And again, when I was in the military, that was my whole life, and like I didn't know what a playground was, because my job was to make sure that we were always ready to protect America. And so now we're an army of one individually, and your job is to protect America. And the way you protect America is don't be an idiot. And it goes beyond being angry, and it goes beyond calling people idiots. You're being irresponsible, and you don't deserve to be in this country. I don't care if you were born here or not. I don't care if you're an American citizen or not. You don't belong here if you don't understand that responsibility is serious. We are not China. We will not shoot you in the street. We will not tell you can't go anywhere, and if you do, you're going to be arrested. We are not China. We're trying to do this in a democratic way, in an American way. And if you're not taking that responsibility seriously, you don't belong here. And it has nothing to do, I don't care if you were born here and your family's been here for 100 years, you don't belong here, because we got to save this country. And the way to save this country is we got to be an army of one.
Right. All right. I think it's time. I think we've explored this topic enough, Anthony, unless you have something else you want to say. I don't want to,
No, I'd like to talk to you about my soda. This is Manhattan Special coffee soda. I've been having this since I'm like a little boy, and I haven't drank it in a long time because it has a lot of sugar in it. But I've been drinking one like every day now because it makes me happy. Just thought you should know that.
And I am thinking once we get back to normal, we should go to that place in the city where you got the you revived the egg cream business over there and have some of those classic egg cream.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have a lot of alcohol in that egg cream.
Well, that's a given. Jamie,
I haven't had a drink the entire time. Maybe I had a half a drink the whole time I've been home. But I think today I may be there might be actually scotch in here and you don't know about it.
I haven't had a drink since this morning. No, just joking. Since last night. Jamie, any final thoughts on the numbers component of all of this kind of thing?
Yeah, and we got another close to 6 million job unemployment claims came in this morning, and we expect those to continue over the next few weeks. And we here at CBRE see a lot of people suffering, and it's really tough to see. And our hearts go out to everyone out there that are being impacted, both, and like Anthony, your family. And companies like CBRE, like Chesapeake, that are having to make hard decisions, and all our clients out there. So I really appreciate you guys having us on.
Thank you, Jamie. Do you want to stick around, or do you need to get going for the?
I don't know if you've heard. I had a toddler crying, so I might run and see if I can help get him down to his nap.
All right, brother.
That wasn't your toddler. That was Glenn.
Yeah. All right, see you later, Jamie.
Thanks. Nice meeting you.
Thank you for being here. All right, Chris, you got time to stick around because I think Bianca might have some stuff for.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with revenue management and system distribution. That's what she does, right? So.
Yep. All right, so let's bring her in. Bianca Portabaga, how are you?
Hey, good. How about you?
Did I get the pronunciation right? Did I? Bianca.
Yeah, you did. Good job.
All right, awesome. So Bianca was VP Membership Performance and Distribution with Lux Hotels. Just to put that into perspective, thank you for being here today, even though your company had to put you on the sidelines for a little bit. I could appreciate how difficult that is for you and for your company as well. But thank you so much for being here today, even under these circumstances. So welcome. Meet Chris and Anthony.
Hi, I feel I already know you. I've been coming to the show every day, watching the show every day. So I feel I know you very well. And what an interesting day to be here. A lot of emotions.
You know, and one of the things about Glenn and I, since we've met each other, is we don't hold anything back. And, you know, and like I said before, I'll tell Glenn stuff, but I don't really talk about anything. And, but I think it's a natural place to be. Like, Bianca, you were furloughed. I mean, how does that feel?
Well, I was actually laid off. Okay. The company laid off 70% of the employees. I think a couple of my colleagues are watching right now. It was unexpected. We didn't think that they were going to lay us off. We expected to be furloughed. So it was hard because it's not a good time to not have health insurance and to not have a job. So I also go through the roller coaster of emotions, and one day I'm good, one day I'm not. Today is a good day. I don't know how tomorrow is going to be, but I think a lot of people are going through it, and I'm trying to keep positive for the 90% of the time. I'm positive. So let's put it that way.
Yeah. So, how rough. So what are your friends?
So let's talk about that if you wouldn't mind, and you don't have to say anything you're not comfortable with. But there's people that I know that
you got stuck.
You still stuck, Anthony? What are your friends going through right now? What are you going through? What are you talking with each other right now to get each other through this difficult time, Bianca?
You know, we are trying to improve our skills and use this time to make better versions of ourselves, right? I'm trying to really stay focused. I'm tuning in every day at 9. I'm reading articles. We are exchanging information. We formed a group on WhatsApp, and we are trying to really, keep up with what's going on. Everything is moving so fast and things change so rapidly. So it's hard to really stay in touch with what's happening if you're not making an effort. So I think we're really trying to pretend we're still working and really helping each other. After this, I'm actually doing a digital marketing training for some colleagues. That's something that I'm passionate about, and a lot of people don't know much about the subject. So hopefully someone else that has another skill will do the same. So we're really just trying to keep busy to get our minds off it a little bit.
You know what I was saying, Bianca? Am I still frozen or no?
No, you're good.
So, you know, I've had friends not be furloughed, be laid off, and they were shocked as well. I mean, how do you feel about that? From again, I don't want you to say anything you're going to regret, but I mean, how do you feel towards your company? Do you think it was the right decision? Do you understand that they had no choice, or like how did that make you feel? And again, you don't have to answer that question because that's a pretty difficult question.
Yeah, well, I wonder sometimes if they made the right decision, because I think it was very early in the game. We had hotels in Asia, we have hotels in Europe, South America. I think they made the decision very early on, and they laid off all the executive team. And I was listening to Chris early saying that they are holding on to their corporate team. And I think that's very smart, because you need people to help you through the situation, to come up with solutions, to come up with ideas. And they didn't do that. So I don't necessarily think it was the right decision. But you know, I think after all this is over, or we have a new normal, it's going to be, that's when we're going to see, you know, what's going to happen to the company.
Yeah, but on the other side of that, you know, kind of like Chris is looking at his cash flow every day, and he's looking at his executives, and that's a burden. That's a hard burden. So, you know, your company may be trying to save the company coming out of this. And Chris, and I you know, I'll let you talk in a second, but you know, you're making a decision that other companies may not have made because you're burning through cash that you may need, and and it's a really scary time. So, Bianca, I don't know if they laid you off too early or not, but I'd imagine they were looking at their cash burn, and it was probably based on cash burn, and they want to basically have a strong company come out of this. I'm sorry, Chris.
No, you're good. And so I can really empathize with Bianca. I will say one thing. I love your positivity, and I really believe that distribution and e-commerce and digital marketing are going to be one of the first things back. We're going to need it first, right? Because we're not going to have groups to sell to. So you're, you know, I flipped through your LinkedIn profile, and you're definitely somebody that should get scooped up right away by some great company. So, but you know, the thing we go
about
through,
replacing Glenn. I'm thinking about replacing Glenn.
No. He said great company, not the state of our company.
Here's the thing. So as a management company, you know, that's our management company. That's our corporate team that we've decided to burn our cash and keep our team together and be ready to come out of it. Other companies made what you said, Anthony. They made the decision to stop spending now and hold on to cash and be ready to rehire and start back up. That's two strategies. But also at our hotels managed estate, we did have to lay off people, right? We've laid off 1,700 people because we are only the third-party manager, and we don't control the cash for those owners. I mean, that's that owner's cash. So we've seen all different sides of it, and it is very difficult to put people out to the marketplace for COBRA benefits, and it's just it's an excruciating decision to have to make. So I'm sure no leaders make it lightly.
Is your decisions in this difficult time becoming easier just because you've had to make so many tough decisions, or is each one still as excruciating as the prior one?
For me, you know, Glenn, I take a lot of things real personal, and that's who I am as a person. Yeah. So every time somebody's out, it hurts me, and I think about their families. So it's not any easier. And what's worse is I'm a fixer. That's what I've always done. I've always fixed things, and I can't fix it right now. I don't have anything to fix. That's what I'm struggling with. So it doesn't make the decisions any easier at all.
You know, Chris, that's that's probably the best thing I heard all day. And that's what I was struggling with this morning. It's like, everybody knows, man, call me, and I put on a back cape, and I'm fixing shit. I'm actually, my nickname's the Hotel Fixer, right? That's where I made my brand. So I'm the fixer. Everybody in my family and in my professional life call me, and I fix stuff. And I think that's the thing I'm struggling with right now. It's like, I got nothing. It's like we just gotta have patience. And I personally, that really hit a chord emotionally with me. That I just realized it's like I can't fix anything.
It's funny.
Can't fix Glenn. That's beyond fixing.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, Brad.
Now we got in the swipe at me, Bianca. The floor is yours.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it's interesting. We can't fix anything right now, but I think we should really use this time as hotels to get into the data. There are so many things that we want to do in hospitality, but we don't have time because we are a 24/7 business. So I think to use this downtime, if you do have the resources, to analyze your data, to go into your Google Analytics. Are people still coming to your website? Who's coming to your website? Is your conversion on the booking engine if your hotels are open? How is that playing? It's really interesting to see how many hotels don't know about these numbers that are so basic and are so important. So maybe it's a good time to look into those. Really clean your rates. I think, and it's a shame because when we knew we were going to have this downtime, I already had a plan on what we were going to do, because in revenue management, in distribution, there is so much you can do when you don't have the influx of reservations coming, and you have, you need the people to be paying attention to other things. So I think there's a lot you could be doing right now. So if you think that you need something to fix, maybe you can't fix, but you can analyze something to do better later.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let me take a moment to thank our.
Yeah, I was
over
talking
at,
to my digital marketing person that works with me, and my digital marketing person, and she said that across all digital platforms last week.
He's freezing again.
Well, here it is. It's just it's a big mystery.
And the numbers went down, which is interesting. So yeah, like right now, we have no idea. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm freezing. I don't know why I'm freezing.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna take you out of the room,
yesterday.
but you're right back in the room because that usually fixes the problem. So let's do that. All right. So there he is. Bianca,
I like this better. I like this better. I'm at the top now.
I do too, right? Okay.
Yeah,
so,
Bianca, I just wanted before we go forward,
no.
This is terrible. This is what happens when everybody at once is trying to use the internet. So Bianca, maybe I love that you're giving us some tips on here on what you could do. So assuming you were still working full time, or you had the opportunity to advise somebody on what to be doing, what would your strategy really be at this time? Not just the catch-up stuff, but what would you really be thinking about, nuts and bolts procedures on how to find some successes and get some wins in the hotel column?
One good thing that I think people should use this time to do too is to do a cost analysis of your distribution channels. Oftentimes, we always portray the OTAs as the enemies. We tend to say the GDS is the savior. And I think it's a good time to really evaluate those. Talk to your market managers about margins, talk to your CRS about your cost of distribution, and really understand who is taking the majority of your revenue. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we really think it's OTAs, and you would be surprised. Majority of my case studies that I've done, it's not the OTAs, but I'll leave it up to you to find out yours. But I really think it's a good opportunity for us to reevaluate our costs. There's so much we are going to be able to do with revenue moving forward, so at least you can be safe on your cost side. And I know a lot of people have been bringing on the chat because I've been watching every day about the OTAs. There is nothing official that they are doing to really give hotels a break, but I think if there's a time to talk to them, this is the time. They need us as much as we need them, because if there are no hotels, there are no OTAs. So if there is a time for us to fight for something, even if it's something small, this is the time. I think some of them are being nice and playing nice with hotels, maybe giving them a break on marketing spends or things like that. So I would definitely do that. And one thing, we never have time to talk to vendors, right? Because we're always busy. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great time to talk to vendors. There are different players coming now. Like they're not new, but fairly new, like TravelPerk, Trip Actions. Affirm is a company that does installments for retail and for other industries. They're trying to get in the hospitality business. They do have some hotels. With the economic downturn, maybe it's a good opportunity for you to have Affirm on your website. So maybe it's a good time to really listen to vendors and see how they could help you when things bounce back.
Right. I got a question. Sorry, Chris, go ahead. And after you, we got a question.
It's great stuff. I mean, she's right on target. I agree wholeheartedly, Bianca. Really good.
Number one, I just want to answer this question real quick from Thomas Tannum. Would it be possible to combine hospitality and healthcare? Yes, we have a show coming up on April 30th, all about this particular topic. April 30th, so mark your calendars on that. But on my stream, Valerie Hayes is saying, do you think ADR will be as hard to recover as people are saying? So, Bianca? Oh, well, you made that face, so yeah, that's not good.
Yes, I think it will. Unfortunately, not everyone will play by the same rules. Mm-hmm. And my concern is that if the 5-star hotels start dropping their rates, then it's going to be a domino effect. So if that segment can hold strong, and I don't think we should hold on, for example, July, I was looking at prices in Hawaii, and the prices are very, very high. I think that we should adjust. I don't think we should drop the rates dramatically, but I think that if you're pricing July as your high season, maybe you should, move that to medium, mid-season, something like that. So I think, unfortunately, because a lot of people will drop the rates dramatically, it will be harder for us. But I do have hope that if the 5-star segment holds strong, then the effect is not going to be as tragic for the other segment.
What about the notion, Bianca, of keeping your prices what they were, but throwing in a lot of value adds? So that way you give the customers that feeling that they're getting something, but you don't have to, you don't have to mess with your pricing integrity.
That's better. And yesterday, when Faisal was here, and I forget the name of the lady that was here too, there was an interesting topic saying how much does pricing entice people to travel, right? And you're talking about the helicopter ride and that's something that I'm struggling with too. If I had to make the decision, do I make a decision that I put the price super attractive so people will come, mm-hmm. or do I hold my integrity? And I think the answer lies in between those two. I think we need to be more lenient with rates. So maybe adding, breakfast, parking, something like that will entice people to come. Mm-hmm. But it's, I don't think anybody has the answer. I would probably try to add the value, the perks there, but we'll see.
It never in a.
Oh, the suspense. Oh, this is so painful, Anthony. Although I love that that it's his look right now, right? All right, let's try to take him out and put him back in and see what happens. There he is. Yeah, well, for now.
So never in the history of the universe has supply and demand not worked. And that's what it comes down to. It's supply and demand. So everybody can forecast. We can have everybody on here. We can talk about whatever we want. We can talk about value add. We can talk about don't drop the rate, increase the rate, whatever. What matters is those phone rings. The phone rings, people click, we'll know where we can set the rate. So if
Yes.
Thank you, Bianca.
But it's true. Again, it's interesting. Are people paying attention to who's coming to your website now? Is your website getting traffic? Because I'm still looking around. I can't travel anywhere, but I'm still snooping around to see what's there. So try to understand what is coming out. Who's already looking at your website? I think we're going to be stuck on this for a while. California now, it's May 15th. I saw Virginia until June. But once we have the light at the end of the tunnel, I think people will start planning and trying to get out there, and we need to prepare.
So that's an interesting point, Chris, because she's talking about appealing towards that dreamer phase too, right?
Well, that's what we talked about. I mean, internally, what we're doing, our Cassie, who you guys met, her team is doing analytics, and they're looking at, our e-commerce, our Google Analytics to see who is looking at our hotels, and then that's how we're going to determine our path back to to profitability, is finding these people that are actually looking and shopping and seeing if they're ready to travel. I mean, what Bianca's saying is right on target, and that's what, while you're down, that's what you should definitely be doing, is getting ready to come back whenever that is. So.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So, all right. So, hold on. I got. Sorry, I was trying to find a comment. It has vanished. I said I would ask that question, guys. I'm so sorry. Oh, wait, I found it. All right. We've always looked to the hospitality industry, and this is coming from George Byfield, to escape from our day-to-day worries. Is the hospitality industry in a position to help us remain happy during COVID-19, as well as get us ready when travel is open? I think we're kind of talking about that right now. So Bianca, why don't you give us an answer, because you are all nodding yes there.
Of course. I think Anthony said something earlier, and I feel you, Anthony. I've had those days before, but we have a lot of things to look forward to. We don't have the dates, and that's sad that we can't say that we're going to travel in August, but at some point we will travel again. I think there are so many brands doing an amazing job, keeping us inspired, being empathetic, which is important, especially on social media. It really irritates me when I see posts and people are not even mentioning what's going on, because it's going on. It's on everybody's faces. You have to really make sure that you're empathetic. But it's nice to see that brands are saying, we are ready for you. Whenever you're ready, when everything is ready, we are ready for you. So I think we can continue to inspire people and have people continue to dream about their vacations, because it's going to happen. The only problem is that we don't know when, but at some point it will happen.
Right. And that's the rub, that we do not know when. Anthony, you back and hospitality strong with us?
He looks so serious.
Yes. All right. He is not back with us, but this would be a good time to once again thank the good folks at Bartech for being supporting us over here and helping make sure that we can pay the bills here right now. So I want to thank them for their big 3 weeks that they were able to pony up and help. Really check them out at bartech.com. Drop a line, info@bartech.com, and find out how they would be able to partner for you to help those in-room sales. And again, that's going to be so important. So if you weren't really thinking about that beforehand, if you were freaked out by the whole idea of minibar beforehand, may be the time to reevaluate all that. All right, enough with the plugs. Anthony's moving around again backstage. Let's see if we got him here. Are you back, Mr. Melchiori? Nope. All right. So, Chris, any other thoughts? Any other pieces of advice that you got for us today?
No, I love the human nature of the show today. So thanks for having me. I'm sorry about Bianca's situation, but listen, I've been around this a long time. She knows what she's talking about. So somebody's got to scoop her up here soon.
Yeah.
But, thanks for having me, Glenn.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. And Bianca, what about you? Oh, yeah, go on, Chris.
That's a fascinating thing. Like, listen, when we come out of this, there's going to be some amazing talent available to the industry. Amazing people, because some people are going to make it out, some people aren't, and then some businesses are going to come back strong and some aren't. So, those businesses that are coming back strong, there's going to be some amazing people out there that are looking to do great things. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. All right. Yeah, well, I think that really says it all, and it's got me thinking of another topic, but I know everybody's got to get out of here today. Bianca, any final thoughts from you?
Nope, just everybody keep positive. I think this is happening for a reason, and there's something good for us at the end of this. I really believe so. Right.
How about you, Anthony? Any final thoughts from you? Finally, I'm in charge now, and I get to keep him quiet, but we'll give him one more chance. Nope, it is not working there. All right, so I think we'll just wind up ending the show right here with Chris and Bianca. I'll take you guys off screen. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Chris, I'll see you soon enough. Bianca, thanks. You were absolutely terrific today. Let me see if my good friend is there. Are you there, friend? Hospitality strong, baby. Hashtag hospitality strong. Anthony, if you can speak, can you share a little bit about Hospitality Strong? No? At least,
yes. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, and I think it's great that your picture is frozen just there. Oh, it was frozen. We can hear you again, man.
I don't know why my
man trying to keep you down, brother. All right. This is very sad. So let's just do it this. Let's just wrap up this show. Anthony, thank you so much for being here and being an incredible co-host. I had such a great time on this show, even though I started off a little bit kooky, maybe I got a little too passionate. I don't really know. But these are the things that we need to really be talking about today. The common theme is we are all here to help each other. We are all in this together. And that's why we're talking hospitality strong. Anthony, how about now? No, this is such a tease. Every time I think the man's back, he is gone. All right. So forget about it. We're going to move on. We're going to get out of here today. Please subscribe to our newsletter. Just text the word hotel to 66866. That's the word hotel to 66866. Anthony's insisting he could get back in. He cannot get back in. You know what? We'll just leave a black screen up there for him in memoriam. Hey, are you there, buddy? Are you there? All right. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Yes, Chevy Chase, vacation. Got to keep those 80s references going. Thanks for being here today, everybody. For Anthony Melchiori, the Silentless Man, today on the show, and myself, Glenn Hausman, we appreciate you being here. We will see you tomorrow with our Feel Good Friday show. Now, tomorrow's going to be exciting. We've got Forbes Travel Guide is going to be on. They've got a lot of resources. They're going to help you learn during this time, and it's all for free. And then we're going to focus on our pets, right? Those little furry friends that we have in our houses, right? We're going to have my cat Splotchy on the show. We may even have my cat Kit Kat on the show. I don't know, but we're going to be talking with a lot of different veterinarians, talk about how you could keep your pets happy and satisfied in this particular time without going crazy. Thanks all for being here. And for me and Anthony, we will see you guys tomorrow. Hasta mañana, people.